supportive parents, my name is Duga and welcome to Light Growth Academy. In this video, we look at why continuous learning is still important and why we need to encourage our children and our youth to continue learning. Very, very important that they learn on a continuous basis, because by default, they always receive information. They always, their mind is always being fed, whether negative or positive, but by default, there's some information that is actually getting into their minds all the time. So some of the things that I would like us to look at here is that what are the benefits of continuous learning? The very first one is that learning opens the mind. It actually helps us to sort of have ideas, to build that knowledge and experience, because if you keep on learning, that's basically how our mind goes. If you look at the neural system, it's basically our mind grows simply because we put information in our brains. If we don't do that, we become stagnant, run out of ideas. It also helps us to increase our wisdom. It also helps us to adapt to change. Also help to fully develop and improve our abilities. Also, it will help in fully developing and improving our abilities. Because why we are affected? Because we are affected by the quality of what we know and the level of what we do not know. The things that we don't know affect our output, our results, and the things that we know also affect our results. So it's important that we continue learning. This is the reason why I like self-education. For self-education, the advantage of it is that you decide what you want to learn and you simply collect the information or do your research and you learn stuff that are important to you. It's important that you, because with the power of internet and the other available resources right now, I mean, you can learn whatever you learn whenever you want to learn. So that is very good. We need to encourage them to learn stuff. And then what we do with what we know also affect our results. We may have some information, but if we don't do something about what you've learned, I'm sure if you recall on the previous videos, I was talking about people know what they're supposed to do, to achieve a specific goal. But unfortunately, we just don't do what we know. We just, unfortunately, we are that. Our main downfall is simply because of we don't do what we're supposed to do with what we know. And what we don't do with what we don't know also affect our lives, our careers, and our future. If you say you know something, but don't do anything about it, that has got the power of affecting our results. Then from the previous years, we used to, in fact, most of us, what we do, we want to have stuff without doing much and then without becoming anything. So this formula, this principle that I want to talk about right now, which is part of continuous learning. If you continue to learn, eventually it will help us to become something. So we need to make sure that our children knows that they have to become something first. Then once they identify what is that they want to become, they will know exactly what to do. And then once they do stuff, once they do the things that are right, that are in line with whatever that they want to become, then they can have stuff. But we start by thinking of having stuff. We all want to have stuff. We all want to have good stuff. We all want to have success. We all want to have a good life. But unfortunately, we forget the main part, which is becoming. We must first become something, because once we become something, we know what to do. And once we know what to do, then we can eventually build on it and then eventually become successful. Then eventually we have stuff. I wish I had somebody who taught me the stuff while I was still very young. This is why part of what I do is to share this information with our youth so that they know exactly what to do. The earlier, the better. All right. And then some of the things that are important is that situation. We all have to go through certain learning stages. The first learning stage, this is something that I talk about in my book, Continuous Learning, which is chapter 4. The learning stages. Usually, the very first step is when you don't know anything. That is, I call it unconscious incompetence. So you are unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know. I mean, if you don't know what you don't know, unfortunately, it's that kind. And then the second one will be consciously incompetent. You are now you are aware that you don't know certain things, but you are doing something about it. And then the third one is conscious competence. Now you are starting to do some stuff. You are learning, but consciously. But you want to reach a level which is the last stage, which is the last stage, which is number 4, which is now what we call unconscious competence. This is now when you know stuff by default. I mean, you've been doing this thing for many years. Now it has become part of you. This is the stage that you want. Think of somebody who's actually learning how to drive. The very first step, they don't know what to do. They give them the keys, they get into the car, but they don't know what to do. But then you start showing them, which should become now the second level. So all the learning stages, we all have to go through that learning stage. And we have to encourage our children that even if they don't know something now, does not necessarily mean they wouldn't know it later on. We just have to encourage them to continue learning. All right, and then mental ingredients. Mental ingredients is simply about what you feed your mind. I call it food for the mind. Food for the mind is the good stuff that you feed your mind with. Because unfortunately, we live in an environment where, whether you are aware or unaware, there are stuff that are being fed into your brain or into our children's brain. So that sort of have an output eventually, whether it's a good stuff or not a good stuff, or whether it's good or whether it's bad. But we want to encourage them to, when we talk about mental ingredients, the things that are supposed to be fed into their minds must be something good, something of value, something that is going to help them in future, which is the reason why I always talk about why our education system must be reviewed, because the things that are being taught, most of them are now becoming relevant because of the power of technology, the power of internet, and the power of other resources that are available right now, like AI, for instance, artificial intelligence. These are things that I talk about all the time. So we need to start reviewing and re-looking at what is that our children must be fed. Okay, their mind, what is that they must learn. Okay, and then empowering the mind, very important. Learning stuff, it actually has got the power to empower the mind, the power of thought. We always think about stuff. Every time you sit, you think about stuff. Right now, I will be talking to you, but probably you are thinking of something, which leads to my next point about which we call self-talk. Self-talk is the things that you tell yourself. So our children also must be aware. We need to teach them about the things that they are telling them. So there's a voice at the behind all the time in the back of their mind saying stuff, and mostly, unfortunately, it says negative stuff. Things such as it's not meant for you. You are not good enough. It's only for the rich. It's only for people who's got high qualifications. So we always tell ourselves. This is now the self-talk. So it's important to monitor the things that we are telling ourselves all the time. Similarly, we need to teach our children that the things that they are telling themselves must be mostly positive. So because whatever that you are saying, you become that. Unfortunately, even if you look at the law of the universe, if you are somebody who believes in the laws of the universe, you realize that the thing that you talk about most of the time, eventually you become that. All right, this is self-talk now. And then your mental factory is bound. It is a statement that I always tell my students and my people that I work with, that your mental factory is bound to produce fruit, sweet or sour. Whatever that you feed your mind with, good or bad, it's bound to produce results. So we need to make sure that it's bound to produce fruits. So we need to make sure that we feed our mind with good stuff, so that the outcome, so that remember, it's input, output. Whatever that you put in, eventually it will have to come out. But if we keep on feeding our mind, or if we keep on encouraging our children to feed their mind with good, especially when you look at the cell phones, we don't know what they are doing with their cell phones most of the time. But somehow we have to try and manage and make sure that we help them to identify the things that are extremely good for their future, for their life, for their career path, for their life generally. So that it must be something good, so that the outcome will also be a good one, sweet stuff, not sour. Okay, master your own territory, very important that we teach them to master their own territory. They must master, whether it's their talent, whether it's something that they want to become. It's good if they master their own territory, becoming the master of whatever they want to do, and then again to keep their zone clean, meaning freeing themselves from bad influence, because we live in a world that is full of bad influence. You don't know what other people are telling your children, especially if you don't have time to sit with them and then talk to them about the stuff that are good. Automatics, this seems like weeds. So if we don't take responsibility by making sure that we help them to free themselves from bad influence. We are always involved, we are always responsible. We make sure that we help them with the stuff that, especially things that they don't understand. So that is very, very important, my dear parents. So it's something that we want to look at. All right, I hope you got some value from it, and remember to share this video, like and subscribe, so that every time when I publish a video like this one, when I upload a video like this one, you'll be notified. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got value. Remember to share the video and send your comments as well. This is Pierlo Nduka signing off, and this is Life Growth Academy. Until I see you on another video. Cheers for now.